and Juliet is a story written by William Shakespeare with a reoccurring theme that love is an unstoppable force and fate is already sealed. So at the time it was released, the idea was revolutionary, and it directly affected storytelling forever, with the same themes being constantly used in any love story nowadays or any time between. So as a story, it's easy to compare it to many tales of forbidden romance such as the Titanic, The Notebook, and even Dirty Dancing. However, I feel as though an old classic called The Princess Bride, an instant classic with some of the most iconic scenes of all time, is the best choice. The Princess Bride is a movie that came out in 1987, which was about a grandfather reading a story to his young grandson on a sick day. The story was about a rich woman by the name of Buttercup, who came from a wealthy family, and a poor farm boy named Wesley who worked for her. It started off as a regular business relationship, where he did the chores for her, but due to his sheer kindness and good heart, they eventually fell in love. However, it was short-lived as it was interrupted due to Wesley's need to make money working at sea. After a long time away, Buttercup had heard the news that Wesley was killed at sea by the great pirate Roberts and was devastated. After the story moved on to a time jump when she was engaged to a man due to his wealth and power in a country named Prince Humperdinck, whom she did not love due to her lingering affection to her beloved perished Wesley. Then suddenly, she was out horse riding, and when Buttercup was kidnapped by 3 con men who were enemies of the prince's kingdom. What ends up happening is Wesley ends up being alive and had faked his death, and goes on to save her after hearing rumors of her kidnapping and saves her, showing that fate had brought them together once again. However, they had a new problem. With Wesley back in her life, the Buttercup had no longer wanted to go through with the arranged marriage due to her love for Wesley, and they tried to flee the area. However, they were intercepted by the prince and his men. The prince, who was furious with Buttercup, forcefully brought her back for them to be married in a deal that he wouldn't kill Wesley in return. The prince, however, showed his true intentions after a speech from Wesley about true love and how fate would bring him to Buttercup no matter what. Because of this, the prince had decided to torture Wesley to death in order to keep fate from being fulfilled. Yet no matter how hard they tried, he just would not die. And to the prince's surprise, Wesley had showed up at their wedding right before Buttercup was about to take her own life out of sadness, and saved her with the help of the original kidnappers. Princess Bride relates to Romeo and Juliet because they both share the theme of unconquerable love and uncontrollable fate. They even share some of the same iconic scenes and story arcs, such as in the Romeo and Juliet movie. The final scene shared between Romeo and Juliet in the bed was similar to the final scene in the castle between Wesley and Buttercup in the king's bed on the wedding night with the prince. Both stories shared the same general ideas of love and death are intertwined when both sets of protagonists consider or perform suicide due to the laws of one another. The only difference was, in Princess Bride, it ended with them riding away on horseback, whereas, well, you all know what happened to Romeo and Juliet.